So the first thing that we did is we used the environmental health and safety application and the background data there to define some work categories to use specifically for COVID. So I'm going to collapse these other items here. So you can see that we have a whole hierarchy here just for COVID. The top 5 here that are numbered are for just specific days of the week. So if we had an employee that came in every Monday, then they would get this work category assigned against them. But maybe they come in on Monday and Wednesday, so that employee would get the 1M as well as the 3W COVID category assigned to them. We also set up alternating schedules for pay periods since we're on a 2-week pay period basis. And we have some employees that will work Monday, Wednesday, Friday the first week, and then Tuesday, Thursday the second week. So this work category is used for those employees, whereas we have the alternate of that shift where we have employees coming in Tuesday, Thursday the first week, and Monday, Wednesday, Friday for the second week. We also set one up for the first week of the pay period, so they come into the office the first week and telework the second week, and the alternate of that is the week 2. And of course, we needed the telework 100% of the time since the majority of our workforce is still teleworking 100% of the time, specifically for COVID. We would use this work category assignment against them. And then the essential one allows us to identify employees who come into the office full time or every day of their regular work schedule. So once we had those work categories set up, we could have used the out-of-the-box EHS work categories, the track employee work categories view, to further assign those to specific employees. So I can go ahead and pull up my record here, and I could have hit Add New and filled in those work categories from this screen. But we didn't currently use this view, and we saw this as possibly only being something that either our EHS group or just the Archibus administrators would have access to. So we needed to make this information available to our organizational space POCs. So let me go ahead and switch over and I'll show you how we did that. So when our organizational space POCs log into Archibus, we're using the Archibus VPA to apply restrictions, not only to restrict them down to a certain location, a site or a building, but also to restrict the organization information that they see. So when they log in, they only see the employees assigned to their organization, much like if we filtered this view down to my organization, this is what they would see. I'm going to go ahead and hide that menu and take a look at these employees. I can further refine that down using the Smart Search here to find a specific room to take a look at some employees. So let's just go ahead and take a look at my employee record here. So this is a view that these organizational space POCs use on a regular basis to go in and update their employee information, either change their location, move them to a different room, or update their phone number or employer type information. They can also pull a list at any point in time of all the employees in their organization. Within this view, we are already tracking several different pieces of information, including faceplates and issued keys. So we just added in a new panel for work categories. Here you can see I already have a little bit of information assigned. If I click on that link for the COVID telework, I can see that I started that on March 22nd, but I can modify that and go ahead and put in a new date. So let's say I believe that's going to end on August 15th of 2020. Save that, and then I can add in a new work category starting August 16th of 2020 and pick that new COVID work category. So I went from teleworking 100% of the time to, let's see, maybe I just come into the office only on Wednesdays. I save that item, and now I can see that my employee record shows that I'm teleworking 100% of the time from March 22nd until August 15th, and then starting August 16th, I'm planning to come into the office on Wednesdays. If in addition to that Wednesday, I was also going to come in on Mondays, I would just add in the Monday schedule as well for the same time frame. Or if it started on a different date, then I can put a different date start and end on there as well. So that's how we would just go in and update a single employee to have a specific work category and make this time-based so that we can see what it was in March versus what it was maybe later in August or September. using the employee list and the edit feature on that view to be able to add a work category in for a single employee was sufficient. However, we have several organizational space POCs who have hundreds of employees that they are trying to maintain the information for. So we knew that we needed a better solution to be able to allow them to make multiple updates all at once. So in response to that, what we did is we developed the Assign Multi-Work Category view. With this Assign Multi-Work Category view, we see the employees along the left-hand side and the available work categories along the right-hand side. We have a search panel across the top, so I can filter this down for a specific division, or I can even just break that down and only include, let's go ahead and just say I want to see all of the AMP organization. I can then pick all of the employees, or I can just pick a couple of the employees along the left-hand side, and then the work categories to assign to them look across the right-hand side. So let's say I want to assign Tuesday and Thursday to Brandon Allen and John Aiken here, starting on, I'm going to go ahead and say March 22nd, when most of us were teleworking, but maybe John and Brandon in this example were coming into the office on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Clicking on the Assign, I can assign those two selected work categories to the two employees that I selected. Clicking on Yes, I'm going to see that that assignment's been made, and then I can pick on one of their names and see and confirm that those employee work categories have been assigned to the selected employees. I can filter this down to say I only want to see the employees that don't currently have a COVID schedule, so now John and Brandon are removed from the list because I had already assigned them a schedule. I can then select everybody else, but let's go ahead and select everybody but take off, let's go ahead and take off Jeff Hart here. I'm going to assign everybody else to the Telework 100, again starting on March 22nd. It's going to ask me, am I sure I want to make that change? I would say yes, and it would to confirm that. I'm not going to do that in this example because it would take a little bit of time because I'm in a test environment to make those updates. So let me go ahead and further refine that down. Instead of selecting everybody and trying to make 200 assignments in this example, let's just go ahead and pick just the AMP 100 employees. I'm still looking at just those that don't have a COVID schedule. If I did show all, I'm going to see everybody. I'm looking at 32 employees. If that filters it down to just 31, because remember earlier in the employee edit view, we assigned a work category to myself, so I've been filtered out of this. Let's go ahead and select everybody here. And again, we'll unselect Jeff Hart, make that assignment. It's going to say, are you sure you want to make those 30 employees assigned to that COVID telework 100% of the time? I'm going to say yes, and that will assign that work category to all of the selected employees. Get the confirmation, and now they've been removed from the list because again I'm only looking at the employees that do not currently have a active COVID work category. I can go back to show all and it shows all those employees. Picking my record where we made those assignments earlier in the employee edit view, I can see all of those same assignments that have been made as well as any of the new ones that we just assigned. So let's say here we're looking at Russ Gehring. We assigned him the COVID telework 100% of the time. But if we select him again and say he's going to come in on Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Tuesday, Thursday, starting on August 1st, I can make that assignment here. Maybe Russ isn't the only person doing that. Maybe his coworker Kevin also is. I can select however many employees I want on the left-hand side and the work category that needs to be assigned to him on the right-hand side. Click that assign, say yes, confirm. And now when I go back and look, not only did it make the assignment of the Monday, Wednesday, Friday schedule, it also stamped the date in for the previous schedule that had been assigned because we had started the telework on March 22nd but left that open-ended. So when we assign the Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Tuesday, Thursday starting on August 1st, it automatically stamped that date in for July 31st, keeping those dates consistent. This has just turned into a good view to be able to make multiple changes all at once and keep that information up to date for those work categories. Providing those organizational space POCs a place where they can make 50 or 100 updates all at once. The employee work category search view then gives us a way to be able to pull this information and just report on how many employees do we have assigned to a specific work category or a selected group of work categories. So let's just kind of take a look at who is assigned to the COVID Telework 100. So I hit save and show that. I'm going to see the full list. Let's go ahead and filter this down for a specific building. So now I'm looking at just the telework employees in the headquarters building. I can further refine that for a specific date. When this opens, it's showing us as of the current date, but let's say we are curious what happens as of July 1st. So right now we see that Robert here is assigned to the telework work schedule from March 23rd until June 30th. I can actually click on his name here to see what else he's been assigned to. So it looks like starting on July 1st, he switches to that Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Tuesday, Thursday schedule. So if I was to put July 1st in here, or even let's just July 15th, hit show, Robert's going to fall off that list because as of July 15th, he's no longer one of the telework employees. So this just gives us a quick way to see who is on what schedule as of a specific date and how many employees that we have that meet that criteria. It's just useful for reporting purposes for management. The COVID schedule by building view is another management type summary view, which gives us some totals by occupied building. So along the left-hand side, we can see the building code and name and what the capacity is of that building and how many employees are assigned to that building. But then starting with this column and over towards the right, all of this information is specific to those COVID work schedules that we assigned against the employees. So it defaults with today's date, but I can change this back. Let's go ahead and look at what did it look like on February 1st. If I hit show on this, I'm going to see zeros across the board because we didn't have any COVID schedules back in February because that was all new to us at that time. But if I change this back and say, what did this look like, say April 15th, I can see these totals then. And I can see as of that specific date, so on April 15th, I had 10 people who were scheduled to be in the office of the headquarters building that day, and 548 who were teleworking. And also, as of that date, for that week period, how many employees did we have identified as essential employees? And those that were on those mixed schedules, meaning they come into the office a few days a week, but they're teleworking other days. And how many did we have working telework 100% of the time? And then this column just identifies how many employees we have that do not currently have a COVID schedule assigned to them, or they didn't as of that date that was entered. So changing that back to, if I when I looked at today's date, hit show, I'll see those numbers update accordingly. So this just gives us a quick glance for management personnel to be able to pull those totals either by building, or we can look at the overall totals at the bottom to see what it was for a certain site if we wanted to filter that down further by site, and then dump that information to Excel as well. So far we've shown you a lot of information, just data on the views within Archibus. So one of the most powerful features of Archibus is being able to see this information spatially on a floor plan layout. So we're going to go ahead and take a look now at this location of work categories view. We actually borrowed this view from the maintenance application. It was originally the location of work request view, but we were able to leverage the flexibility within Archibus and make some modifications to that view to show different data. So in this example, we're able to take a look at the work categories and highlight those floor plans accordingly. So let's go ahead and take a look at the COVID Telework 100 and pick some divisions. In this example, I'm just going to go ahead and pick all of the AMP divisions. Save those. And let's go ahead and put that as of today and hit show. So now I'm going to see only the floors where we have at least one employee assigned to the COVID Telework 100 schedule, and they belong to these divisions, and that work category was effective as of the given date. So it will highlight all of those locations in yellow of everyone who is teleworking currently as of the date that was specified. This information is also available down here in the grid where we can see those schedules. So here we have some that were effective from March 22nd until August 14th, and that met that June 25th date, so that's why it's appearing on that drawing. But of course, the floor plan layout is the most powerful feature here within this view to be able to highlight it. We can change that date from June 25th to, let's go ahead and change that to September 1st to see if that looks different based on our plans for possible future phases. And so once I hit show and pick that same floor again, I'm most likely going to see some different information. So now I saw less rooms highlighted because we're starting to see employees transition back into the office and possibly that a few of them have switched to this COVID essential schedule to where they're in the office full time. So as of September 1st, looking at that for the COVID essential, and we're going to start seeing there's a section of employees that are coming back into the office full time as far as future plans on that September 1st date. But if we were to switch that back again to the current date, we would see less highlights because currently, and you saw that entire floor actually disappeared with that because we don't have anyone assigned to the COVID essential work schedule as of June 25th in those A&P divisions. So we're not even seeing that first floor or the headquarters drawing anymore. So that was just a very beneficial view for us to be able to use. And like I said, we borrowed that from the maintenance application and made some changes so that we could see this information directly on those floor plans and use this for COVID. We also implemented the COVID work category information directly into one of our widely used drawing views. Our highlight and label view allows the user to pick a floor plan and then see the floor plan highlighted by the options that they've chosen. So within our highlight options, we've now added new information to be able to identify highlights for the COVID work categories. So the top one here, the COVID groups, this one will highlight the floor plan based on the different schedules that have been assigned to the employees that are assigned to those locations. So we can quickly see, how many employees across the board are teleworking, that 100% telework. So we've got a lot of light blue in this area showing those employees are out of the office on that telework schedule. We can also see our vacant space on this floor plan as well because we don't have to be concerned about an employee sitting in those locations since that office is vacant. Whereas we've got the yellow and green showing those alternate pay period schedules. So over here on the right-hand side, we can see that we've got several employees that are on that green schedule, the Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Tuesday, Thursday. So I'm going to close my legend and zoom in a little bit more so we can see that information. We can change the labels as well to include the COVID work category details. So choosing that COVID employee schedules label option allows us to see the employee names as well as the schedule that's been assigned to them. So here we can see we've got these 4 employees all on that green schedule with this Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Tuesday, Thursday. So maybe we just need to consider moving a couple of these employees up to these vacant rooms, whereas they wouldn't be in the office on the same day as their cube mates, and be able to spread those employees out a little bit more, or possibly consider changing them to 1 or 2 of them to either telework 100% of the time or to one of the other alternating schedules. We can also export this information to PDF using the buttons here on the left-hand side of whichever floor we have selected. So I'm just going to go ahead and tell it not to show any furniture and change the font size down a little bit smaller. And then once that PDF generates, this link becomes active where we can then download that file, which can then be sent to management or emailed to anyone else in the organization who needs that information. Once that generates, we click on the link to get that PDF where we can open it and see it here on the screen. And we can further print that or save that as needed and send it to others in our organization who may not have access to Archibus but need to be able to view that information. We also have highlight options for today and tomorrow. What that shows is it highlights any other rooms in yellow for the employees who are planned to be in the office today based on those work categories that are assigned to them. So if today is Thursday and they're an essential employee, or they're assigned to the COVID 4T or Thursday schedule, or they're on, say, the Tuesday-Thursday schedule for the first week of the pay period, then their room would highlight in yellow. whereas the others would highlight in light blue, showing any of the employees who are teleworking. And then the tomorrow option just changes that information based on tomorrow's date. So we can see this quickly at a glance. Who's planned to be in the office today or tomorrow?